Hey everyone. Just found a really nice article about green tea. Green tea is one of those things that I've been using for many years with my clients, but I always make sure that I tell them that it really needs to be organic. And the reason I sort of do that, I remember I was at a seminar years ago and there was a naturopath oncologist there, and she was talking about the fact that at her functional medicine clinic, uh, she treats a lot of cancer, being a naturopathic oncologist. And what she found was this particular woman who'd had breast cancer, her levels kept rising of liver toxicity, and she thought, that's really weird with everything we're doing. It didn't make sense. So anyway, she went through the diet, she went through everything. The woman was supposedly doing everything that she was supposed to do. And eventually she sort of said, well, what about the brand? What are the brands of things that you're using? And she asked about the green tea. And the green tea was one that she hadn't been buying an organic one. She'd been buying one in from China or somewhere. And of course, there's some places in the world that have huge amounts of pesticides. And even if they're organic, the air is so toxic that even if they're organic, there's a lot of residue on the plants, just from living. And that's the problem, isn't it? With organic stuff, you can imagine you might not be putting any pesticides or herbicides into the ground, and you might be nourishing the soil and using organic seeds and that sort of thing, and not using GMO stuff. But if the water is just normal water that's got fluoride and chlorine and stuff in, then that's going to be a problem. If you because that's more chemicals that are going onto the plants. But of course, with organic, they have to test the levels of all these things. So if they get found out doing this sort of thing, they lose their licenses. Here in Australia, they do anyway. And this green tea she'd been buying, because some of the tea bags that you get it in, they can actually be covered in BPAs. So the plastics on the tea bags can actually have, the plastic residue can be BPA. BPA is bisphenol A. It's a xenoestrogen that drives things like breast cancer and prostate cancer and testicular cancer and all that sort of fun stuff. So xenoestrogens are one of those things that we detox a lot as naturopaths around the world because, we need to. Anyway, so green tea, when it's organic, it's amazing. And there's a particular one called sencha green tea where there's huge amounts of research associated with sencha green tea in relation to detoxification and weight loss. But any green tea, if it's organic, is going to do you good. So I just sort of thought this is just a really nice little overview that I thought I'd share with you. So green tea's got lots of polyphenols in. So polyphenols are things that actually help to reduce inflammation in the body and help to fight cancer. It also contains something called a catechin called epigallocatechin 3 gallate, so EGCG. Catechins are natural antioxidants and they help to prevent cell damage and provide other benefits. So remember I was talking a few weeks ago, green tea is actually one of the things you can do to protect yourself before, during and after the COVID jab. So it's good to get some green tea into your diet as well, and this will explain why. These substances help to reduce the formation of free radicals in the body, protecting cells and molecules. And free radical damage is one of the things that causes many, many diseases in the body. EGCG is one of the most powerful compounds in green tea. Researchers tested its ability to treat lots of things, including anything that has inflammation. So that's cancer, heart disease, diabetes, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, so anything with pain long term, it can help with. Green tea also has a small amount of minerals, but and anything that contains minerals is good for us since so many things are denatured these days. That being said, so it's a lot of the polyphenol antioxidants, the catechin called EGCG, and that can help you. The other thing is that it has something called caffeine, and caffeine has been shown to help with your brain health. And I think, once again, anything that gives us that bit of pep and get up and go. They have done studies where they've looked at white tea versus black tea or green tea. They've looked at things like white coffee versus black coffee. They found basically when people have the correct amount of teas and coffees, it's not actually that bad for them. I sort of always, like I've said a million times in the last year, these days I'm skeptical where we get told that anything natural is bad for us, because I always think, well, who's pushing this dilemma? It's sort of like if I'm prescribing someone fully purified fish oils and someone who's on blood thinners get told, oh no, you can't take fish oils, they thin your blood. I go, wouldn't it be better to take the fish oils than it would be to take a blood thinner? But, that's logic. And it's better for you. So you can't do that. So caffeine, the way that it's good for the brain is that so you want enough to stimulate energy without causing a jittery response. By the time you're getting a jittery response, that's a bit too much. So research has shown that caffeine can improve aspects of brain function, including mood, vigilance, reaction time, and memory. And how many of us are too vigilant these days? However, caffeine isn't the only brain-boosting compound in green tea. It also has L-theanine. Now, one of my anti-anxiety supplements is actually GABA plus L-theanine, and that combination is really nice for anxiety. And the L-theanine can cross the blood-brain barrier. L-theanine is also, it increases the activity of GABA, the neurotransmitter which has anti-anxiety effects. It also increases dopamine and the production of alpha waves in the brain. Studies show that caffeine and L-theanine have synergistic effects, therefore the two of them are particularly good for brain function. Because L-theanine and a small dose of caffeine, green tea may give you a much milder and different type of buzz than coffee. So I know that some people can't do coffee, but they can do green tea and they still get a bit of a buzz, which is nice. A good buzz. Many people report having more stable energy and being more productive when they drink green tea compared with coffee. So that's all good thing. Yeah, but the fat burning thing associated with green tea, obviously, that's why I drink it. So if you look at the key ingredients for just about any fat burning supplements, chances are green tea will be on there. So this is because according to research, it helps to burn fat and boost metabolic rate. In one study involving, only a small one, 10 healthy men taking green tea extract increased the number of calories burned by 4%. Another involving 12 healthy men, green tea extract increased fat oxidation by 17% compared to those with the placebo. And as always, I wonder what the placebo was. Was it actually a placebo? I've heard such crazy studies over the years. One of them was it was in a prison and they had these 4 groups of, it was a male prison, and they had 4 groups of men with different levels of acne, and they gave them either one type of chocolate bar or another type of chocolate bar or 2 placebos. And I think like all the other naturopaths in the audience listening to this study were thinking, what placebo would you have for chocolate that they would actually take? So was it carob or something, What was it? Was it still full of sugar? Anyway, you sort of imagine that, people in a prison aren't going to eat something that tastes like crap, which a lot of natural non-chocolate chocolates taste like. But anyway, I don't mind carob, but, there's some awful ones out there. Anyway, and it was funny because the study was so terrible, and when you sort of pull apart the study, and then for like 50 years, dermatologists were actually using that study as a way of saying, no, sugar doesn't cause any problems with acne. It was a stupid study. So green tea. Yeah, so it helps to mobilize fatty acids from fat tissue and makes them available for use as energy. So that's pretty powerful. 2 separate review studies reported that caffeine may increase physical performance by about 11 to 12%. So that's a good thing too. So, and the antioxidant I think is really important. So green tea, powerful antioxidants, anything we can do to get antioxidants in our diet and the things we do all day, every day is better than taking supplements that are filled with antioxidants, even though if I had cancer, I would absolutely take them externally as well. But they found with breast cancer, a comprehensive review found that people who drank the most green tea had approximately 20 to 30% lower risk of developing breast cancer, one of the most common cancers in women. Prostate cancer. One study observed that men drinking green tea had a lower risk of advanced prostate cancer. Now, don't forget with prostates, about 50% of men over the age of 50 have an enlarged prostate, and in Australia, the PSA, the prostate stimulating antigen, for a long time that was being used as a marker for cancer. It is not a marker for cancer, and the guy who developed it came out and said that. So people who are using a PSA as a cancer marker, they're not doing you a justice. It's not true. So it's a marker of an enlarged prostate, nothing more. So just keep that in mind before the fear goes through the roof and causes cancer. So it did lower the risk of advanced prostate cancer and colorectal cancer. An analysis of 29 studies showed that drinking green tea was around 42% less likely to develop colorectal cancer. Many observational studies found that green tea drinkers less likely to develop several types of cancer, including liver. So, some good stuff around cancer as well with green tea. In relation to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, they also found that people had less chance of developing these if they were drinking green tea in their day. So once again, really good thing. Another bizarre thing, helps to reduce bad breath. So now, is this just because we're not drinking coffee or because we're actually drinking green tea? But what they found was that the catechins help to suppress the growth of bacteria in the mouth, particularly Streptococcus mutans. It's a common bacterium in the mouth that causes plaque formation and leads to cavities and tooth decay. So that's sort of an interesting one as well. So it's not just that we're not drinking coffee, it's actually that it doesn't enhance one of our mouth bacteria that causes plaque. So that's a good one. It also helps to prevent type 2 diabetes. How cool is this? So, and of course, it is increasing just crazily. So I think they're saying that in Australia, our type 2 diabetes in adults over 50 is doubling about every 3 years. So it's just crazy the number of people developing. And of course, nothing about our lifestyles are supporting non-diabetes these days. Just everything about our lifestyles. We enjoy a little bit too much of everything all the time, and just one of those things. So anyway, so what they found in a Japanese study was that they found that people who had the most green tea had 42% lower risk of type 2 diabetes. And in another study of 286,701 individuals, tea drinkers had 18% lower risk of diabetes. So once again, some pretty good information there. Another one is cardiovascular disease. And once again, looking after our heart is really important at the moment. I'm sure you've seen all the reports on television about the myocarditis that is happening in young men at the moment around the world. So protecting our hearts is really important at the moment. Like I mentioned, we need about 400 milligrams of CoQ10 to protect ourselves before, during, and after the vaccine, and also and that protects both the heart and the brain from the spike proteins, because the people who are getting damaged, I think, are the people who have weak hearts or weak blood-brain barriers. So the more we can do to protect ourselves and keep ourselves healthy, the more we'll be able to cope with these things. But once again, talk to your doctor about all your risks. So the green tea with cardiovascular disease, they found that it helps to improve total cholesterol and LDL bad cholesterol. But I am not one of those people who believes that cholesterol is evil. So even though, yes, it helps to lower LDL, which is great, and it helps to lower total cholesterol, can be good if it's too high, but we need cholesterol. Just a reminder, we need cholesterol to create any hormone in your body. We need fats and proteins. We need cholesterol to make, so you can't make adrenaline, you can't make thyroxine, you can't make any hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, you can't make them without cholesterol. So basically, if your cholesterol is up and your stress is up, it's because your stress is up, that your cholesterol is up. If you actually take a cholesterol lowering drug without sorting your stress out, you're actually creating more damage. So really be aware, and send me a message if because it's one of those things. There's lots of stuff. So basically we need it will help. So green tea also helps with cardiovascular disease, weight loss, yep. And guess what else? It helps you live longer. So in relation to one study with 40,000 Japanese adults over 11 years old, over an 11-year period, sorry about that, those who drank the most green tea, 5 cups or more per day, were significantly less likely to die during the study period. So from death of all causes, 23% lower in women, 12% lower in men. This is 5 cups of green tea or more per day. Death from heart disease, 31% lower in women, 22% lower in men. Death from stroke, 42% lower in women, 35% lower in men. And once again, we're seeing heart attacks and strokes with the coronavirus going around in the world at the moment. These are the things that are getting people. We know that if we're overweight, we're more likely to die from COVID. We know that if we've got heart disease, we're more likely to die from COVID. We know that if we've got diabetes, we're more likely to die from COVID. So how cool to have something so easy as green tea that you can throw into your diet to protect yourself long term from everything going on. One more thing that might help you. Okay, that's my body hack for the day. Have a great day. See you later.